today we have a very nice verse that summarizes. We are there since already quite sometimes, even 2 months and a half ago, before I went to India, we were in the story of Chitraketu Maharaj and Vritasura. So now we are coming to the end of that particular story, and it's like a review. That there was the story of King Chitraketu, that was the person who became Vritasura. So it's interesting how Shukadev Goswami plays it. First he speaks about the story of Vritasura, and then Parikshit Maharaj is asking, but who was this Vritasura? How could he be a demon in the body of a demon? And how could he be a devotee? So then Shukadev Goswami says, oh, in his previous life he was Chitraketu Maharaj. So then he's telling the whole story of Maharaj Chitraketu and how he became a demon, and now it's coming to the conclusion that he became Vritasura, the person I had spoken before. In this verse there is one particular point that is very interesting I would like to take for today's lecture, is that nothing is ever lost. Nothing spiritual is ever lost. All what we do in spiritual life is there forever. And I would like to speak a little bit on this point, which is giving a lot of hopes. Sometimes in spiritual life we feel, where am I going? Is it really working? It's maybe a little slow and like this. But this is giving a lot of hopes, because no matter what we do in devotional service, it's forever. We will never lose it. So we'll try to speak about that. I hope that with this lecture we get strength to appreciate devotional service. Often we become like habit, something we do every day, and we don't value it anymore, we don't appreciate it so much, and it's just like part of a daily routine. So I hope in this lecture we can get some appreciation for the process of Krishna consciousness that we have, and that we get the strength to practice it full power. So we will hear of what are those transcendental assets or results that are never lost. What are they? How it happened that they are never lost? And how do we make them? How do we make those transcendental assets? So what are those transcendental assets? The verse is speaking about that. Anyone remember what Shukadev Goswami is saying? What are those assets that are never lost? Two things. He says transcendental knowledge and the application of that knowledge. So he's giving those two. He said those are the transcendental assets that will be staying with the living entity even after the time of death. Transcendental knowledge and the application of that knowledge, which is interesting because transcendental knowledge is Gyan and the application or realization is Vigyan. So this, and it's also Sambandha. Sambandha is the base of spiritual life. It starts with the knowledge, and then Abhideya, how do we practice, and the application of that knowledge. So those are the two things that are never actually lost. And now I wanted to speak of those two, because often we are in contact with knowledge. We are sitting in the morning lecture, we are sometimes reading. So this is the transcendental knowledge that we will keep with us, provided we take it in. If we just hear something but it comes out of the other ear, or we read but we don't catch anything, then it's not easy to keep that even after our previous birth. We hear of Gajendra, the elephant. In his previous life he was Indradyumna Maharaj, and he had prayed as Indradyumna Maharaj, and then when Gajendra was catching his feet, he could remember the prayer, and he was praying even in the form of an elephant. But that means he had put the prayer very deep inside of himself. If he would just have said once the prayer, it might not have come the next life, but he was putting it very deep. That's also for this transcendental knowledge, we need to chew on it. we need to take it deep. We need to remember what is that knowledge? What did I read? We have to make the effort of remembering, and then it's actually become part of ourselves, and then it can stay. Then it's never lost. And then the application of that knowledge, I think it's also a very important point, because this is actually the sign we are doing progress. How much we are applying of this transcendental knowledge. This is how we translate. We translate our spiritual progress with our behavior. So this application can be sadhana, or spiritual practice, the practice we do every day, but also our behavior. How we are actually acting when we are in the world. How do we act in a relationship with other people around us? So this is also the application of this transcendental knowledge. So sadhana, our spiritual practice, and our behavior. And looking at our behavior, we can see how is our sadhana. We can see how are our spiritual practice, because they are connected, they are both together. And if we don't see change or transformation in our behavior, then we have to revisit how we are doing our sadhana. Then maybe something is going wrong. We are not doing it in a proper way. So this is what are those transcendental assets, transcendental knowledge, and application of that knowledge. So those are the things we will keep eternally with us, that are never lost. And then how they are never lost. So Prabhupada quote Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.17 here. And this verse said that those transcendental assets are never lost under any circumstance. No circumstance can ever take those spiritual assets away from us. So in the next life we continue where we left in the previous life. And we can see sometimes devotees, they are very new in Krishna consciousness, but suddenly they start to be so fast, and it seems, oh my God, I'm practicing 20 years and this new bhakta seems to be more advanced than me. Did you notice? Sometimes there are situations like this. That means he is starting again his spiritual journey where he was living it before. That means he was working much more than myself before, and now he can actually go so fast in his spiritual development. So we can see also when I was 8 years old or something like this, I just liked to go to the church. I could not understand what the priest was saying. I just had a liking, just like to be in the church. And later on, when I came to Krishna consciousness, I understood this is from previous life. I'm continuing where I left in previous life. So this is super encouraging, because all what we are doing every day, every mantra that we chant in a proper way, that we are focused on it forever. All the steps we do are never lost. Because in material life, actually there is another verse where Prabhupada, or Lord Krishna speak about that. This is in Bhagavad Gita 240, where Lord Krishna say also that all those material activities, they will never lost. Every step is forever. Nothing will be ever lost. So this is actually very, very reassuring. So we can contemplate how powerful and how important are those spiritual moments, those transcendental moments in our spiritual life. This is the real things of our life. All material stuff that we are moving around, they will be gone at the time of death. But all those moments of transcendence, this is actually what remains. This is actually the essence. This is actually what is important in our life. And we see other examples in Shastra. Maybe I can ask you, do you see any example of any great devotee in Srimad Bhagavatam who had the same situation, or not the same situation, who had a fall down, but then in his next life he continued where he left off? Bharat Maharaj. Bharat Maharaj, who gave up his whole kingdom, but then he went to the forest, he got attracted to the deer, and then in the next life he was as a deer. But he continued where he was, because he was all the time going close to hermitage, where sages were. He was getting prasad, and then after that he became Jada Bharat. So this is another example of nothing is lost in the spiritual practices or spiritual assets that we are doing. Another example is Ajamil, who was actually in his youth, he was actually a very pious and very spiritual person. Then, due to bad association, he got diverted and became sinful person. But all what he had was still there, so that right after seeing the Yamadutas, he just continued where he was and just finished it in the next life. So those are few examples of how all those spiritual credit or spiritual assets that we have in our spiritual journey are eternal, are there forever. So all spiritual work that we are doing has a permanent effect, and all the material assets or work that we are doing, they are temporary. And in material life, if we don't do material things up to the end, it's a failure. If you start a work but you don't finish it, it's like a failure. You did not do it. It's useless. But in spiritual life, it's even if you don't complete what you do, just the fact that you acted in devotional service, this is ever remaining. That's also an amazing point to contemplate. Just try to reflect a little bit on that. Every small service that you do, thinking of Krishna, remembering Krishna, forever. You will never lose it. It's a small step forward in your spiritual development. Never to be lost. Not any circumstance can remove that from you. Try to reflect on that. Think. It's amazing. If you think of it, it's just amazing. The chance that we have, that we can practice bhakti, we can do something that has eternal benefits for us. There is a Christian saying that what is the benefit to gain the whole world if one loses his eternal soul? So that's also part of the contemplation today. All those small things that we are doing that are not really connected to Krishna, that are not conscious of Krishna, they will be gone. This will be gone. My house will be gone. My clothes will be gone. My computer will be gone. My mobile will be gone. My work, all what I do will be gone. The only things that remain is those moments of connection when I did my work remembering Krishna and doing it for Krishna. Those are the transcendental moments that will stay with us. Okay, so there is actually a story my spiritual master was saying of a man that had been very sinful his whole life, but one day he did a little service for a Vaishnava. Little. Like maybe a Sankirtan devotee who asked him direction and he just told him, okay, go in that direction. Just little something positive. So at the time of his death, Yamaraj came and said, wow, you will spend years and years and years in hell, really long, but you did one thing good for one devotee, so you can stay for 1 hour in the heaven. So what you want to go first to hell and later on you can have this 1 hour to heaven, or you want to go to heaven for 1 hour and then you get the rest? So this man was clever, say, okay, I will go 1 hour to heaven first and then I will go to hell. And when he came to heaven, he saw there was a garden of roses. So he took roses and he was throwing them in the sky and said, Vishnu, this is for you, this is for you, this is for you, this is for you. And he just increased his devotional activities, knowing very well that this will prolong his stay in the heaven and eventually he will never have to go to hell afterward. So this is how we should do our devotional service, knowing it's actually eternal. It's actually going to bring me back to Godhead. All those mantras, all those small service, all those moments of remembrance of Krishna, those are the eternal things. Those are the powerful things that will stay with us. And this is, I think, we can do a lot of service, and it's also very, very positive, but often we are not connected. They are disconnected from Krishna. We do things, but it's disconnected, and that do not have much strength. I don't know how much of that will stay with us. It's a question to myself. But all the moments of remembrance, when Krishna is present in our consciousness, when we think of Krishna, those are the real one. And those are actually the power, that's what is giving us enlightenment. I was reading yesterday Kadamba Kanana's family just before going to bed. I'm reading his book under a Kalpavriksha tree or desire tree. It's like pilgrimage that Maharaj did in Vrindavan, and the disciple wrote on that. And Maharaj was putting this point of remembrance. He said, as soon as you remember, Krishna comes. As soon as you make the effort to remember, Krishna comes. He appears. He appears through that remembrance, he comes to you. And as soon as Krishna comes to you through remembrance, you feel ecstatic. So basically, as soon as you remember Krishna, you will feel ecstatic. Try it out. When you chant japa, when you sing kirtan, when you work, when you do your activities, you think of Krishna. Immediately you feel energized. Immediately you will feel ecstasy is there. And that's actually what I feel is very, very important, that we come back. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam. We hear, we speak, and then we have to remember. This is like very important. If we don't make this effort of remembering, most of the things is actually gone. It's not staying with us. It's not there anymore. And I thought that was when I want to speak a little bit now from my journey in Vrindavan, and some thoughts and some feelings that we had there, because the month of Kartik, my wife and myself, we tried to isolate ourselves, to go more in seclusion and to chant more. And later we met my spiritual master, and he said it has so much power. All those spiritual activities that you do, especially in the Holy Dham, especially during Kartik, such a power. He said you cannot imagine. You cannot imagine how powerful. He said you might not feel it fully, but inside it's working. Inside the transformation is taking place. And I noticed this time in Vrindavan was just so powerful, so amazingly powerful. Of course, here is also Vrindavan, and I remember once Narayani was asking this question to Kadamba Kanana Swami, should we still go to the Holy Dham? Here is also the Holy Dham, and why do we need to go to Vrindavan? And Kadamba Kanana Swami said, if you can realize that you are in the Holy Dham, then it's very good. But if you cannot, then to be in the Holy Dham will be much more powerful. And I notice how the Holy Dham is just like magic. It's just the trees start to speak to you. The birds, the animals start to interact with you and reciprocate with you. The people, the dust. I mean, this dust is just like, wow, so nice. So I felt I need to learn a dust pranam mantra. There should be some pranam mantra for the dust that I can offer my obeisances to the dust. And I had few story with animals that happened when we have Raja Sevika, a German devotee living in Vrindavan, and she's taking care of cows. She takes the cows that are out in the street that are suffering, and she take care for them, and she gets many bulls there. And she was telling that one bull was coming and he was chasing another bull that was already there. So the other bull was going away, so she went to the street, she brought back the bull, and then she gave the sauce to the other bull, the new one who was making the king scenario. And she chased him out. She took a stick, go away, how can you do that? You cannot stay in my house if you are like this. And she said at a certain time the bull turned away and just looked at me. And I could feel he was speaking to me. I could feel he was not an ordinary bull. He was a powerful personality. And he was showing me in his glance, okay, I understand. I understand what you say. Allow me to come back. I will not create trouble anymore. And she said it's mystical. It's not a normal animal. It's a bridge basi. It's a habitant of the Holy Dam. Once we were walking with Vejanti and we like cows so much. So whenever we see cows, we will pet them. Those cows are so beautiful, so nice. And once there was a small calf and I was patting this calf and she had a sickness and there was some bubbles or some pimple or something like this all over her body, and you could see she was suffering. And then she just put her leg a little bit in front like this. She was showing me her leg. She was like, look. And in her eyes, she was saying, look. And I look at the leg and it was very, very injured. And she seemed to say, do something, please help me. Do something, please help me. And it was like a spear in my heart. She was speaking to me. And I was helpless. I could not do anything. I don't know how to cure such. I thought, oh Krishna, if I could be a magician, I could just put my hands on it and it will be cured. Oh, it will be so nice. That was another moment, like very emotional moment, where I felt this is not ordinary calf. This is Krishna's calf. This is habitant of the Holy Dam. Yeah. Another last. Those are like windows. When the Holy Dam open and when you can see through a different dimension. And another beautiful one, we were staying in the Surya Kund, trying to chant day after day, spending hours and hours. I calculated it was for me 10.5 hours of chanting every day. It was not easy, and you need really a lot of effort and determination. And in the field down the temple there was a farmer. He was living in a hut, not even a hut, like a tent. 2 poles, 2 clothes coming like this, and that was his house. He was living there. And he was taking care of the land, and there were a lot of birds, and the birds were eating up seeds. So he will shout at them, but he will speak to them. He was also like special person. He will speak to the birds, but he will do it in a laughing way. So when you will hear him, he was speaking. He was speaking like this to the birds, and at the same time, there are many sadhus there who are very, very extremely serious in their spiritual practice. I mean, some of them they just don't speak, because if they speak, they will lose their meditation. So they just don't speak. They are very, very, very focused. And I was there trying to chant, and then I could hear, and I was thinking, okay, yes, it's good, Gaurahari, give your best, but be detached. Don't be too harsh with yourself. Ultimately, it's in Radharani's hands. You cannot do it on your own. So it was helping me to actually relax a little bit. And at the same time, there were birds. They were every day around between 3 and 4, which is the time when Srimati Radharani comes to Surya Kund. She's coming every day to worship the sun god there. And during that time, you could see birds flying together, and they have white feathers up and black under. So depend how they turn. You see white and then you don't see anything. Oh no, you see dark and then you don't see anything. And then you see dark, and they were flying in such a beautiful way. And I was there chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. I was hearing this, and I was seeing those birds flying around. I was like, my God, where I am is just too sweet. It's just too amazing, too beautiful. So that was few things I wanted to share. Another things that one day in this chanting, it was so difficult. I noticed you can, when you chant a lot, you can see your attachments. My God, they show to you, to your face. And one day I was chanting, and I'm very attached to money, even though I don't have so much money, but I'm very, very attached to money. And one day my thought was, how can I save money on the rickshaw? We will have to move from here to there, and we will have to pay the rickshaw, and this rascal last time took me 700 rupees. That's much too much. And the mind was just totally fixed on that. And I was there trying to chant and say, come on, let go, let go of that. No way, nothing to do. And I noticed you have attachment, and the mind grasps this attachment. And especially like with controlling, I will do things like this, or I will do things like that. Just watch your mind during japa. It's just like grasping so hard. And I was calling, I was praying, Krishna, please help me. But there was no answer. Oh, Krishna, where are you, And then the next morning, first in the evening I understood, here are actually my attachments. This is something I have to do something about it. I did not, there were others, but that was one prominent. And the next morning I heard, when we take shower, we always listen Prabhupada lecture, and Prabhupada was saying, to fulfill the soul, you need bhakti. You need to do your activities with bhakti. So I start my chanting in the morning, thinking, okay, I need to chant with bhakti. And I started, okay, this mantra, my Lord, is for you. At the first Hare Krishna, okay, this one is for you, please accept it. And then the next mantra, please accept it, this one is for you, this is my offering to you. And I noticed something started to switch in my consciousness. I mean, not immediately, but just trying to offer every mantra to Radha and Krishna. Then something changed. And then another thing came, and that was Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, saying how you can control the mind, practice and detachment. And how you detach, what is detachment? Is detachment from the thought, detachment from the mind, detachment from those attachments. And then I understood, when I chant, I have to let go. And I have to pray to Krishna, please take this away. I have a thought of this devotee. I say, my Lord, please bless that devotee and let it go. Any things that come, let go. This is practice and detachment. Detach from the mind. And then I notice all the thoughts, I'm so much concerned because I don't trust that Krishna will take care. I don't trust that Radharani will take care. I think I'm the only one who has to do everything. Therefore, I'm so attached. So then the chanting transformed is as an act of surrender. I surrender. I trust you will help. I trust you know what is to be done. I trust you are in control. I let go of everything. Hare Krishna, I let go. And then it was like a very beautiful breakthrough, like a mixture of doing it with devotion. Please accept this mantra. And at the same time, combine letting go. I trust everything will be fine. I trust you are in control. I give myself to you. Hare Krishna. So beautiful. That was like a gift, also a gift from Radha and Krishna, a gift from the Holy Dham. And the last small things I would like, because it's all a matter of reciprocation. All what we do in spiritual life is a matter of reciprocation. And this is the reciprocation with Radha and Krishna, or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or Prabhupada, our spiritual master. We were flying back in the airplane. I was looking all the notes that I was writing I was keeping a journal to see what was happening, what were the gifts. So I was reviewing all like this in the plane. And there was, in one lecture of my spiritual master, he spoke about eagerness. And he said, eagerness is what is making us is pushing us forward in spiritual life. And he gave the example of locomotive, the old locomotive. You understand locomotive? like the train, the first part of the train that moved the whole train. I don't know in German. How is it in German? Locomotive. So in the past they had vapor. They were with steam. Steam, it was working. They would do fire, and then the hot steam will make the things move forward. So he was saying this is an analogy like the steam make the locomotive move forward. Our eagerness for Radha and Krishna, for connection, is the steam that makes us move forward. So I was writing this, thinking of this, and then after sometimes I thought, okay, let's go to move the legs. You know, when you are 8 hours in the airplane, it's a little bit painful. And I went in the back of the airplane, I was moving a little my shoulder and like this. And then I went a little bit in the row, and then I turned back, and in the wall of the back wall where there are the last seat, there is a wall behind the seat, there was a big picture like this of a vapor steam locomotive in the airplane. And I was like, come on, this is amazing. This for me, it was just like totally amazing. I was just meditating, and here is I took a picture. I could not believe. So this is actually our spiritual life is like this. We want to come to those moments of bhakti, those moments that are eternal, by remembrance, remembering the Lord, remembering what we read, remembering what we hear, and make it thick, make it like condense, that we keep in our heart. And that makes the transformation of our behavior, and that gives us the strength and the eagerness for our spiritual practice. And nothing is ever lost. All those things are there forever, and we just keep moving toward the goal. So this, what we can learn from this verse. This was the case for Chitraketu Maharaj, who became Vritasura, but his heart was still totally a devotee. He was fully conscious of Krishna. He was fully Krishna conscious, and this is what is waiting for us. All those moments of bhakti, all those mantras. Even writing the verse on the board doesn't have to be a big service. It just need to be in connection. It should be in sambandha. It should be in connection with the Lord. And those moments are the one that we keep forever. Okay, stop here. I don't know if you have any questions, any thoughts, any comments. What do you think, Varjana?
In the moment, I'm not prepared to answer.
Yeah, it's okay. Sorry for. Paul, what do you think?
When I hear this, I also would like to go to Vrindavan.
What is stopping you?
I think it will happen. It will happen. That I know. But
Okay.
But if we hear things like this, then it becomes stronger. The feeling.
Yeah.
It will happen for sure.
Thank you. Katharina, some thoughts?
It's so difficult in English for me.
Du kannst in Deutsch sagen auch. Ich verstehe fast alles.
Ich habe darüber nachgedacht, dass wenn man hier ist, kann man ja auch Verbindung haben mit, wenn man in den Wald geht oder, also ich meine, das kann man vielleicht nicht vergleichen mit Vrindavan. Aber ja, es ist auch ein bisschen, wie man das sieht, wo man ist, also dass hier auch der heilige David ist, wie du gesagt hast.
Ja.
Und nicht traurig sein muss, dass man nicht nach Vrindavan gehen kann im Moment, sondern ich bin zum Beispiel auch sehr dankbar, dass ich hier sein kann.
Ja.
Obwohl das natürlich auch ein Wunsch ist, mal da zu sein. Aber ich finde, es ist auch ein Riesengeschenk, hier im Tempel leben zu können. Das ist wirklich, ich merke es, wenn ich rausgehe
Thank you. You say that you can feel.
I will agree with you. You know, my opinion is also the Lord is here, so therefore Vrindavan is also here. But because Vrindavan in India is a special place where you can get enlivened by the association of so many Vaishnavas and the Lord himself too. But the Lord is here too.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
and yes, some of us has the time to go to India and are inspired to do so, and for them maybe it is very important. And for others, they feel that they get the same result if they do their service here. And that's both has his reality.
Yeah. Thank you. And I think we should not try to copy paste what works for me, works for everybody, because we are all different. And yeah.
Different understandings, different realizations. And yes, it is very nice to glorify the Holy Dharma, to be in the Holy Dharma. Yes, but it is not for everybody to all the time. Not everybody can go to India. Then it will be packed like on certain days on Kati.
Yeah.
Then you don't feel comfortable there anymore. So therefore, let us as devotees in the Western world transport Vrindavan consciousness in the Western world and present it here to the people and shock them with the presence of the fourth dimension to you. So this is always my concern, how to invoke Vrindavan feeling here. If you need it, go to Vrindavan, take it, bring it to Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, it's true. It's maybe I put it like Vrindavan, little bit too much in my lecture, but it's true that here is already like such amazing energy, and I know so many devotees have the experience. When you are here, you feel this protection. You feel you feel the presence of Radha Madan Mohan. You feel them as person directly, and we want to develop this consciousness more and more, and give it to others and share it with others. Thank you.
Ich wollte auch mal sagen, dass es auch hier möglich ist.
Ja.
Also es ist bestimmt eine besondere Connection mit dem Damen, weil auch so viele Devotees da sind, und es ist ganz anders.
Ja.
Weil die Schwingung auch höher ist, vermutlich. Und ein spiritueller Meister hat mal gesagt, Radhishyam, das sind die sozusagen die Ur-Detis, von denen alle Detis abstammen. So, man hat wirklich ein Gefühl, man ist zu Hause angekommen, sozusagen. Das höre ich von vielen Devotees. Aber ich möchte sagen, dass ich das Gefühl hier auch habe.
Yeah. And India is also India. I mean, you have. I mean, I was thinking sometimes, my God, why I'm here? You know, you have the ants that are crawling everywhere. You have mosquitoes. You have monkeys. You have to walk to get some water. You have to clean your pot with a bottle of water, and the storm. Everything is chaotic. Yeah. I felt I need like half an hour extra in my day just for those small things. Come on. But yeah, it's but there is also like, you can see when there are some austerities, you can see the consciousness works in a different way. When you have everything so easily, then it's a different that when you have to go through. I felt because I did not go to India for 3 years. I felt I had become a spoiled child. When I go every year, it's a work on tolerance, how I should be tolerant. There are so many things you have to tolerate. And then I did not go for 3 years. It was just so difficult to tolerate again. So I felt, oh my God, 3 years gap, now I'm a spoiled child. I'm just like, it's a lot about tolerance. Wow, with people, with everything. My God.
And somehow it is a service to go to India because
Yeah.
your Guru Maharaj is there. You want to serve him. And your Guru Maharaj is very much inclined with this project
Yeah,
in
yeah.
India and India special. And my Guru Maharaj isn't. He's completely opposite mood, and he's more in this mood to be in South America. South America is his Vrindavan. So therefore I'm following him, you're following your Guru Maharaj. Everything is nice.
And even if you are not in India, you get enough opportunity to develop tolerance. Even here, even if you don't go to Vrindavan, you get a lot of opportunities to develop tolerance. There is still a lot to tolerate here.
Yes, we are always, because we are still inclined with the false ego.
Thank you. We'll stop here for today. Galantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai.